My house in Oak Creek was supposed to be my final resting place, at least in the metaphorical sense of finding a home for the long haul. I spent years cultivating the lawn, maintaining the stone facade, and, most importantly, tending to the massive, sprawling oak tree that dominated my front yard. It was a 30-year-old beauty, its canopy providing the perfect shade for the sidewalk and keeping the house cool during our brutal, humid summers. It was the centerpiece of my property, a living monument that gave the neighborhood its name and its character. Then there was Brenda. Brenda was the self-appointed president of our homeowners association, a woman who treated the neighborhood bylaws like they were tablets handed down from a mountain. If your trash bin was out an hour too early, you got a letter. If your grass grew an inch over the approved height during a rainy week, you got a letter. She didn't just manage the neighborhood. She policed it with a level of intensity that made me wonder if she had anything else going on in her life. I came home from work on a Tuesday to find a neon orange sticker plastered across my front door. It was impossible to miss. It was a formal notice from the HOA, printed on heavy cardstock that practically radiated annoyance. I peeled it off, feeling my pulse quicken, and walked inside to find Sarah. She was in the kitchen, but she stopped what she was doing the second she saw my face. The notice was simple, cold, and utterly ridiculous. It stated that the oak tree in my yard was officially deemed a safety hazard. According to Brenda, the lower branches were obstructing the sidewalk view for pedestrians and cars, creating a liability risk. The text was clear. I had 7 days to remove the tree entirely or face daily fines that would eventually lead to a lien on my house. I looked at Sarah, holding the paper like it was a live grenade. The tree wasn't obstructing anything. If anything, the branches provided a natural, shaded canopy that people loved walking under. Are they insane? I asked, dropping the paper onto the island. Sarah read it, her brow furrowing. They want you to cut down a 30-year-old oak tree because they think it blocks a view? That is not an obstruction, Mark. That is a tree. I was already grabbing my keys. I knew exactly who to talk to. Mr. Henderson lived 3 doors down. He was a retired city planning lawyer who had lived in Oak Creek since before the neighborhood was even fully developed. He was a man who understood the fine print, the kind of person who could read a municipal code and tell you exactly where the loopholes were hidden. He was sitting on his porch, nursing a glass of iced tea as I marched up his walkway. Mark, he said, gesturing to the empty chair. You look like you just saw a ghost, or a very angry HOA president. I handed him the notice. He didn't even put down his tea. He skimmed it, his eyes narrowing as he got to the section about the removal. When he finished, he let out a dry, rattling laugh. Brenda is at it again, is she? He muttered, shaking his head. She has no idea what she is dealing with. What do you mean? I asked, sitting down. It is my tree, on my property. Can they actually force me to do this? Mr. Henderson leaned back, looking toward my house. Mark, this isn't just any tree. When this development was built, the city planners insisted on preserving the heritage oaks that were already on the property. That tree is classified as a heritage oak under Municipal Ordinance Section 42B. It is protected by the city. It is illegal to cut it down without a permit from the Forestry Department, which they would never grant for a reason as flimsy as a sidewalk view. My jaw tightened. So if I cut it down, I am breaking the law. If I do not, Brenda is going to find me into the ground. That is exactly how they want it, Henderson said. They are bullying you into doing their dirty work. If you cut it down, the city comes after you. If you don't, the HOA takes your house. They are betting you won't check the bylaws. I stood up, the gears in my head already turning. I wasn't going to just ignore the notice. That would be too easy. If Brenda wanted to play with rules and regulations, I was going to make sure she was the one caught in the web. I needed to document everything. I needed her to explicitly order the destruction of a protected city landmark in writing. I thanked Mr. Henderson and walked back to my house. Sarah was waiting for me, her expression guarded. I told her what I had learned, and for the first time since we got the letter, she smiled. She didn't see a threat anymore. She saw a trap. I spent the next 2 days crafting a response. I didn't just want to tell them no. I wanted to force them to double down. I sent a formal reply to the HOA board, stating that I would be happy to comply with their request to remove the tree, provided they sent me a specific, signed order via certified mail acknowledging their full responsibility for any legal or environmental violations associated with the removal. I framed it as a request for clarification, acting as if I was just a dutiful homeowner trying to follow instructions. Brenda took the bait immediately. She sent the certified letter back within 24 hours, complete with her signature and a demand that the work be completed by the end of the week. She was so convinced of her own authority that she didn't even pause to verify if she was allowed to order the destruction of a protected landmark. The document sat on my desk, a beautiful piece of evidence. I had everything I needed to trigger a city investigation. I could already see the fallout. I held the certified letter in my hand, knowing that the moment I mailed my acknowledgement to the city, the HOA's fate was sealed, but then I saw a black van creeping toward my driveway at 2 a.m.,